Hello and welcome to this News9 special. We're discussing about a big development that happened in Tamil Nadu. There has been a big face-off between the Chief Minister M.K. Stalin and the Governor N. Ravi, and it is all about the dismissal of a recently arrested minister, Senthil Balaji. Now, Senthil Balaji had been accused of jobs for cash scam, and when he is supposed to have headed the Metropolitan Transport Department when he was a minister in the AIADMK government. Then, now questions being raised about whether there was a huge corruption that had taken place, and the ED also was investigating it. The minister had been placed under arrest, after which he was taken to a private hospital where he had to undergo a bypass surgery for his heart. But meanwhile, a sudden decision was taken yesterday by the governor where he said that Senthil Balaji has been dismissed from the Council of Ministers. Immediately there was a reaction from M.K. Stalin, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. Let's listen into what M.K. Stalin first said in Tamil. I will translate it for you. He said that the authority of the governor does not exist when it comes to the dismissal of the minister. Let's listen to what M.K. Stalin had to say.
அவருக்கு அந்த அதிகாரம் கிடையாது. நான் சட்ட ரீதியாக நாங்கள் சந்திப்போம்.
M.K. Stalin saying that the governor has no authority in that and that he will go ahead and fight the case legally. So this is the kind of situation that has emerged. Meanwhile, Tirupati Narayan from the BJP in Tamil Nadu had supported the decision. Let's listen into that bite.
He has got every right to dismiss because he appoints the ministers. Mr. Senthil Balaji was appointed by the governor and he is dismissed. He has given the reasons as to why he was dismissed. In spite of the Supreme Court's order, judgment, the government has not constituted the team, special investigation team, which was ordered by the Supreme Court. And definitely the governor, morally, legally, has taken a right decision and he has dismissed Mr. Senthil Balaji. People may say that you don't have any precedents. Let everyone keep this as a precedence. Nothing wrong. Mr. Stalin says that he will go to the court. Yes, you have the right to go to court. No problem. Please go. It will be discussed. Mr. Ravi definitely would have consulted everyone. He knows law. Definitely. No problem at all. But whatever happened is for good.
Well, as this to and fro from Raj Bhavan and the CMO was happening, there was a communication coming in from the Raj Bhavan saying that the decision has been kept on hold, and many of the reports coming in saying that the governor, when he consulted with the Home Minister, had been advised to seek the advice of the Solicitor General in the matter. So right now it looks like the issue is all about whether the governor has the power to go ahead and dismiss the people with regard to this, and whether it is possible that the governor will be able to go ahead and override the Chief Minister when it comes to the decision of removing a minister from the Council of Ministers. To discuss more about this, we have with us Ashok Bagriya, who in fact joins us. He's a legal expert as well as editor for News9 Live. Ashok, how do you in fact see this particular development overnight? The question is, what is the role of the governor and what is the role of the chief minister? And does this governor have these powers to override the chief minister and just dismiss a council of ministers?
Well, on the face of it, it was an ill-advised move by the governor of Tamil Nadu in sacking, or rather dismissing, Senthil Balaji, number one. Number two, whether the governor has a power to dismiss a minister who has been elected by the people of the state is something which is very debatable. The position under law is very clear that the governor has three kinds of powers. The first is that he has discretionary powers where he can act on his own. The second is that he has powers where he has to act specifically on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. And third are the powers which are clearly spelled out in the Constitution of India, as to with respect to what he can do or what he cannot do. What has really happened in Tamil Nadu, or what this move of Tamil Nadu governor has done, is it has triggered a standoff between the governor's office and the chief minister's office. The governor usually is seen to be a person who owes his allegiance to the central government, and he does what the central government asks him to do. In this particular case, although these allegations have not surfaced, the most of the conversation that is taking place in the public domain is with respect to the legality of the action taken by the Tamil Nadu governor. What lies actually at the heart of this whole controversy, whether the governor can do it or not do it, is Article 164(1) of the Constitution. What Article 164(1) says is that the governor will appoint the chief minister and a council of ministers, and the ministers will continue to be in office during the pleasure of the governor. Now, what exactly does pleasure of the governor mean? Has the governor to exercise this pleasure unilaterally without being guided by the council of ministers, or he has to act only on the aid and advice of the council of ministers? Now, such questions, in the last 70 years, such questions have come before the Supreme Court of India. There have been interpretations given by the Supreme Court where the Supreme Court has said that as far as the governor is concerned, his powers are constrained. They are not unfettered. Because, number one, we have a parliamentary system of democracy and not a presidential system of democracy where the head of the state takes the call. Here, the people who have been elected are answerable either to the assembly of which they are members or to the people directly. The second, as far as the Supreme Court and various court judgments are concerned, it is very clear that the governor has to act on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. Now, as far as this whole controversy is concerned, this is something which was raised in the Madras High Court last week. There were two petitions, two PILs, which actually challenged the continuation of Balaji in office. And at that point in time, the Chief Justice of the Madras High Court said that, look, we just want to know what is the legal provision in law which allows the governor to dismiss a minister. And even at that point in time, neither the state government nor the people who had filed the PILs were able to answer this question. But as I said earlier, at the heart of this controversy lies interpretation of Article 164(1). And if we look at previous judgments of the Supreme Court, it is clear that the governor of a state cannot act unilaterally without the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers to dismiss or sack a minister from the cabinet.
I was in fact reading out that Article 164(1). The word that they use in this is the pleasure of the governor, and that is something that even Arif Muhammad Khan had withdrawn his pleasure when it came to Kerala's finance minister as well. So this is not a new controversy that has happened, but that particular interpretation of the word saying as long as the person enjoys the pleasure of the governor to be in the Council of Ministers, and then you have the tempered verdicts from the Supreme Court on how to interpret it. Is that what is causing the confusion?
Yes, exactly. That is what exactly is causing the confusion, because it depends on the, let's take a situation, or let's assume that the governor has the power to sack a minister or dismiss a minister. Now, what are the implications? Look at the implications. What really happens in such a situation when it plays out on the ground? The governor becomes the super chief minister in the state. His powers are unbridled with respect to appointment and dismissal of ministers. So we have to ask ourselves, is this the scheme? Is this the architecture the constitution makers designed for this country? The answer is a no. What the constitution says is that we have a parliamentary system of democracy where the chief minister, council of ministers will be accountable to the assembly or to the people. But in a situation like this, where the governor, if the governor were to be given this kind of a power, or the governor were to exercise this kind of a power, it will result in the big breakdown of the constitutional scheme which has been put in by our constitution makers. The second thing, as far as the governor is concerned, the governor has a very limited role. The governor and the president of India, they may be the head of, the president of India may be the head of the state, or the governor in a particular state government. They might head the government. All decisions may be taken in the name of the president or the governor of the state, but their powers to act in their discretion is very limited. And why is it limited? Because of the scheme of things, the parliamentary system of democracy. We do not have a presidential scheme of democracy where the head of the state takes the call. Here, we have a system where MLAs and MPs are elected by the people. These elected members are answerable to the legislative assembly or the people directly. The governance, in the scheme of governance, the role of the governor is very limited. Now, the second thing, if you look very closely at the press release which was released, which was put out by the Raj Bhavan yesterday, what are the reasons that the governor gives? The governor says that he has an apprehension that if Balaji continues to be a minister, he will impede with investigation and tamper with evidence. The second thing, the governor says there is a likelihood there could be a breakdown of constitutional machinery in the state. Look at these two things very closely. What is the governor saying? He has apprehension. Can somebody holding a public office be dismissed or sacked merely on apprehensions? The second thing, the governor says there is an apprehension that the constitutional machinery in the state will break down. Does the governor actually have evidence to back these claims? And if the governor does not have any evidence to back the claims that he is making in his order, the order is vitiated by arbitrariness and illegality and needs to be set aside. What usually happens is that the governor's orders, if they are colored with malafide or arbitrariness, the courts can step in and set aside the orders passed by the governor, which would even be more embarrassing for a governor. Now, what we saw this huge high drama being played out in Tamil Nadu was that in the early evening, a press release is issued by the Raj Bhavan saying that the governor of the state has withdrawn his pleasure for Senthil Balaji to continue as a minister. Then suddenly, a few hours later, the Raj Bhavan, sources in the Raj Bhavan say that the governor has put on hold the decision to dismiss Senthil Balaji. Why? Because he's in consultations with the Attorney General of India and the Solicitor General of India, which clearly shows that the Tamil Nadu governor was not in the first instance given good legal advice. And that is exactly the reason why he's taken a step back and he says that, okay, whatever I have been told, I still need a second opinion or a third opinion. And possibly that is why he decided that, look, on second opinion, he must have been told that if this matter were to go into the court of law, that will be a huge embarrassment, not for the governor's office, but even for the central government. So this is where the matters stand today. We don't know whether the DMK government is going to challenge it in the Madras High Court, the first press release in the Madras High Court or the Supreme Court, because there is nothing clear at the moment. We do not have anything in black and white which suggests that the governor has put his decision to sack Balaji on hold. It's all based on sources, what the sources are telling us within the government and in the Raj Bhavan. But there is still has to be an order. Once that order is there, then maybe the turbulence which has been caused by the governor's action would be put to rest.
Well, thank you, Ashok, for in fact giving us insight into what is exactly happening and the kind of feud that has erupted between the Chief Minister as well as the Governor, especially when it comes to the fight over who is quite authoritative in the dismissal of a council of minister, especially if he's facing corruption charges or not, whether it is in discretion of the governor or that of the chief minister and council of ministers to decide on that. With that, it's an end on this show. Keep tuned for News 9 on further insights and other news from across the country.